If I wanted to lose the maximum amount of body fat in 2 weeks, this is the exact approach I would take. Now, I typically wouldn't recommend you leave your summer cut until 2 weeks before your holiday. Probably not best practice. But if you want a little tidy up phase, maybe you've gone too far on a bulk and you need to strip off a bit of body fat, a mini cut where you go into a calorie deficit for about 2 to 4 weeks is a good approach to strip off some unwanted body fat to allow you to continue a bulk, which means you can build muscle for longer and stay lean. The other thing is you may just want to get a little bit leaner for holiday, and it's a good short-term approach because it means that you can go more aggressive on your calorie deficit for a shorter time frame. Otherwise it gets pretty miserable if you're doing an aggressive cut for too long. Another benefit of doing a mini cut is it breaks up the boredom of doing the same thing over and over again. So for me personally at this point, I've done about 6 months bulking so far since the end of 2023. It's now June 2024, so I've been going for about 6 months, gained 5 or 6 kilos. Started to get a little bit cuddly around the sides, so it's time to dial back a little bit, strip off 2 or 3 kilos, maintain the muscle that I built, and then from there you can transition back into a calorie surplus when you feel ready. And I'm getting leaner for my holiday in about 3 weeks' time. When you go into this mini cutting phase, you are going to need to go a bit lower on calories and increase your activity levels to create a bigger calorie deficit. Otherwise, if you cut really conservatively for 2 or 3 weeks, you're not really going to see any changes in shape that you're looking for. And you can get away with going a bit harder in the short-term period. So to set up your calories, you're going to want to find a calorie calculator online to figure out what your rough maintenance calories is at this point. Put in your details, and then from there, subtract 500 to 700 calories as your starting calories for your cut. I will say at this point, this 2 week period is probably not going to be the most fun period of your life, right? You're going to have to restrict a bit more. But once you've got your calorie target of around 500 to 700 calorie deficit, if not a bit more, you're going to want to increase your cardio and your step count. I would say 8 to 10,000 steps a day is a good amount, depending on your job. If it's not possible to get that many steps in from time constraints, you can focus more on increasing cardio, which may save you a bit of time. Unless your body weight is very low, I would say for most guys, 2,000 to 2,200 calories is going to be a good ballpark to be in a calorie deficit and lose a decent amount of weight. I personally would prefer to increase my steps and my cardio and be more active than have to go down to 1,800, 1,700 calories if I'm not moving much. And you also get the added benefit for cardiovascular health if you're moving more. Setting up your macros and your calories. So once you've got your calorie target, I would set protein at 1 gram per pound of your body weight per day, or 2.2 grams per kilo of your body weight per day, depending on whether you like metric or imperial. So hopefully that satisfied you both out there. Now, once you've got your protein set at this amount, why is it important in the first place? It's because in order to actually retain muscle mass on your cut when you go into a deficit, protein needs to be high, and you need to be training in the same way in the gym, which I'll come on to in a minute. You keep the muscle by training hard in the gym and keeping your protein high. It's also going to make fat loss easier because the more protein you have, the more filling the foods you're eating are, the more satiated you're going to be. Therefore, you're going to get less hunger pangs. It's going to be less depressing when you're in a deficit. For example, if you think back to when you first tried to lose weight, a lot of us would underconsume protein at this point, and you think back to being ravenous between meals, reaching for snacks, reaching for carbs. It's usually because your cravings are so high when you're in a deficit and you're not having enough protein, and therefore you feel like you need to eat all the time because you're not satisfied from the meals. So taking this high protein approach should make it a little bit easier. Gym training needs to be a priority to retain the muscle that you built. So the same way that you approach your training when you're bulking up, when you're building that muscle, is the same approach you're going to take to keep the muscle. What builds the muscle keeps the muscle, as they say. So training 3 times a week in the gym, I would say, is a good amount for most people. Follow a structured training program, push-pull legs, full body, whatever it is, doesn't make massive difference. Track your weights, make sure you're pushing yourself, training close to failure, applying progressive overload, which means trying to add more reps per set. Even if you keep your weights the same and they maintain, as your body weight comes down, your actual relative strength's going up on the cut, so that's a good thing. So as long as you're maintaining the weights lifted as your body weight comes down and you're cutting, you're all good. And with the gym training, I would say just go in with the mindset of keeping the muscle and training as hard as you were before. I think a lot of people talk themselves out of it, that they are going to lose strength when they're cutting, but that doesn't have to be the case, especially in a mini cut when you're only doing it for a short period of time. Your strength should not be dropping off a cliff. How much cardio should you be doing on your cut? It really depends on where your body weight's at, how much body fat you want to lose in this time frame. So I can't give you an exact amount, but what I will say is it doesn't make a difference if you spread it across the week. So for example, if you do 15 to 20 minutes cardio at the end of each of your gym sessions, or you just want to go for one long run or one big cardio session at the end of the week, I'd recommend hitting a decent amount of steps, around 8 to 10K, and then building up the cardio over these 2 or 3 weeks. And just do it as much as you can alongside your weight training so that you create more of a calorie deficit in this period. Weight training should be the priority above cardio, because you need to retain the strength on your lifts to keep your muscle, and then cardio should be factored in around that, either after weight training, separate days. Doesn't make too much difference. Supplements. So the main thing is going to be diet that we spoke about earlier. So hitting a good amount of protein, eating your fruit and veg. I don't want to sound like your mum, but eat your fruit and veg, have enough protein, and focus on the quality of your nutrition first. But in addition to that, creatine will definitely help. So creatine monohydrate. Some people on my Instagram said that I wasn't saying it properly. So creatine, whatever you want, however you want to say it, it is going to really help with retaining your strength and muscle mass on a cut, because people get freaked out on water weight fluctuations, but especially when we're in an energy deficit, it's important to cling on to as much muscle as we can, and creatine is going to help you retain your strength on your cut. So definitely recommend taking that if you are already consistent with your diet. Whey protein is just going to be for convenience on hitting a good amount of protein per day. I will use whey protein daily just for convenience, really. But if you want to get all of your protein in and hit that good amount of protein through meat and fish and other sources, that is fine. Doesn't make too much difference. How much should you expect to lose in this time frame? I'd say in 2 weeks, if you're losing 2 kilos or about 4 pounds, 5 pounds, that is quite a lot and really good progress in this time frame. Losing 2 kilos over 2 weeks, or even 1 kilo over 2 weeks, is still decent progress. And remember, in a mini cut phase like this, we're not looking to get absolutely shredded. It's not really going to be possible in that time frame. You're just trying to make a significant amount of progress in a short time frame, just so that you get in and out, and it's less depressing. If you spend most of the year in a calorie surplus, small amount above your maintenance, it's so much more fun with your training, mood, energy levels better. Make sure that you are tracking your progress in terms of weigh-ins. So looking at weekly averages, doing a daily weigh-in first thing in the morning, and then seeing what's happening over those 2 weeks on average with your weight. You may get a lot of water weight drop off in the first couple of days, which is normal because your carbs are coming down. So as we drop our carbs, you're going to retain less water. So there may be a big jump in the scale weight in the first couple of days. Just keep doing what you're doing. If it comes back up, don't stress. Just keep with the process and you should get to where you want to get to. I hope you found these tips useful on how to mini cut and maximize your fat loss over 2 weeks. If you found this video useful, drop it a like, hit subscribe, because if you don't hit subscribe, you're going to miss my future videos and you're going to ruin speeding up your progress. So don't do that. So follow me, subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next video, my friends. See you later.